Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what everyone is talking about, Surging Sparks. It's coming out very soon. From the time that you watch this video, it will be out in a week or two. It'll be out pre-release. I'm not a store in that way. I don't get pre-release events. I will be getting it the week of. But if you're new here, I am someone who has an actual allocation from distribution. I am someone who historically invests in Pokemon sealed product. I've been in Pokemon for the past 10 years, full time for the past over 3 years. And I just want to talk you through how I view a set, what I am doing with my actual allocation of Surging Sparks product, what I am doing with the actual Surging Sparks product that I will be obtaining and physically holding, possessing. I think a lot of YouTube is plagued by people talking and theorizing about maybe role playing as Pokemon investor. And maybe they're farming some ad revenue, farming some affiliate clicks. I do get some ad revenue. I do get some affiliate clicks. I do have affiliate links below to my eBay, but I'm not selling Surging Sparks through any avenue that I can farm affiliate link from affiliate link revenue. And historically speaking, I haven't done that with Ultra Modern Sealed because generally there's no money to be made. Surging Sparks is this big frenzy, all this stuff is going on. It's pre-ordering at 120. I pay 92. One distributor sells me at 92.50 currently. One sells me at 93.50 currently. Some of the big dogs I'm getting, for context, I'm getting 38 cases. One distributor I'm getting 20 cases. The other distributor I'm getting 18 cases. And I think a lot of people have in their mind that some people are paying $50 for a box and making tons of money when it's $90, $100 a box. And then really feasting when it's 120, 130, 150 a box. That's not the case. I do have my own website that I use very sparingly. I do have TCG Player eBay, 12% plus fees, shipping fees, and my break-even cost on selling a booster box on eBay would be around, 120 would net me 105 minus shipping. About 115 to 120 would be the break-even point selling on eBay. So historically speaking, I've not really done that to any extensive amount. But my plan with Surging Sparks, very similar set in recent memory. Similar is easy to say in hindsight. Similar is a little bit of a presumption too about what Surging Sparks prices might do. And I'm not going to pretend like I know. I buy my full allocation of every set. Some of them are a little bit more hype than others. One thing I want to touch on too before I go too much further on that train of thought. Allocation. So I've heard short printed set, I've heard allocations were slashed, all these different things. Context matters. So me personally, I've had distribution for 10 years. I think I've been with one distributor the entire 10 years, and I've been with one distributor 6 to 8 years. Quite a while, but not the full time. Definitely pre-boom for both of them. I got 120 and 120 boxes, so 20 cases, and 108 boxes, so 18 cases for Stellar. So for Stellar, I got the same amount as I'm getting for Surging. So I've heard some people say that, oh, well, my allocation got cut in half for Surging. I only got half of what I ordered. And then you get the further if you do get the further context, a lot of times you don't, but getting the further context, it's like, oh, well, I ordered 120 Stellar and then I ordered 240 Surging. That's important context because that means that you're getting what you normally get, but you just happened, because it's a hype set, you happened to try to order double and you had that declined. Yes, maybe to be fair, if you had done that 240 on Stellar, if you had done that 240 on Paradox, some of these different sets, maybe you would have been able to get it. But I think it is important context of what you're actually getting, what your trends are over time. I've been pretty steady. I've been pretty consistent in the 25 to 40 case range for the past year or two. And a lot of these have been slightly darker times. A lot of these have been darker being more like normal. I say dark. That's all context. That's all depending on what time frame you're comparing it to. But I did sell Battle Styles booster boxes at like 150 at release. It's been some time since the absurdity of the boom. Vivid Voltage at 200 not too long after release. Are we going to get that resurging? I have no idea. The other YouTubers you watch have no idea. But how am I going to navigate it? The way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to take my 38 cases and I'm probably going to put up 8 to 12 cases on eBay. I'm going to put them up to where I get some amount of margin. I'm going to put them up maybe 130, 140 a box, to where if they actually do sell for that, I'm really saving hefty on shipping, because shipping one box costs $8 to ship. You can ship 24 boxes for about $40, depending on who buys it, where they live. So instead of, I mean, you can slash your shipping costs, your unit cost on shipping by 75% or more. So I go that route of selling by the case only. I really love when people buy 2 or 4 cases at a time. So if those sales come, that's great. If it's like Scarlet Violet Base, if it's like early Paldea Evolved, early Obsidian Flame, I probably won't make any sales, and that's perfectly fine. I buy these with the intent to just sit on them until they make sense to sell and make some amount of margin. What I like to do ultimately down the line, and this number's changed over the past decade, I used to set back a couple boxes, and then I started setting back a couple cases, and I'm talking like XY era. And throughout Sun and Moon era, slowly scaling up to Sword and Shield era, maybe 5-10 cases. And I'm targeting like 20 to 25 cases of every set. When a set goes like Twilight Masquerade, I counted, I did an inventory count right before this video. I have 16 cases of Twilight Masquerade. So I'm below where I want to be. And I actually have a couple listed on my eBay because the price is exceeding my expectations. I don't set firm dates. I don't set firm prices. Like, I'm going to sell this when it hits 200 a box. I'm going to sell this when it hits 140 a box. I do list a couple early on to kind of be like a market gauge. If I go 6 months down the line, I'll forget that I had Surging Sparks listed, and then, oh, boom, I got to ship one day. An order came through for a case. That's kind of like a market indicator for me. In some ways, some of my sealed product on eBay serves as like a market indicator, a market reminder, something to just set like a trigger off, set an alarm off in my mind. If prices start moving, it's like that will be my indicator. That will show me that something is going on. I should look at my position. I should reevaluate it. So yeah, I use eBay listings as kind of like more of a market indicator than actually moving substantial amounts of product. One thing that I've started recently, one of the things I talked about, affiliate link below, I do have Fanatics Live. I do have an outlet for Ultra Modern Sealed. I have an outlet for, some of my XY, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield era booster products are being sold and ripped on stream at like high prices, getting that full amount, not having to deal with quite as high as what eBay fees are, and maybe getting a little bit more of a premium, selling it down by the individual pack, 4-pack, 9-pack lots. So hopefully this is interesting. Hopefully this is useful. Hearing from someone who actually has some amount of product, and by no means, like there are the Rudies out there with pallets. There are the Pokeyennies out there doing, again, pallets. There's the Eli Pokemart doing tons and tons of pallets through his distribution program. I'm one guy, and I get 38 cases. I'm not saying it's a lot or it's a little, depending on where you are, who you are. It could be either. It is both. It is both a lot and a little, depending on who you are, where you're at. But big thing for me too, a lot of people will throw around the investing word. A lot of people will throw out all these different words, and then you start talking to them, and it's like they don't have sales tax exemption. They don't have wholesale access to a distributor. Not that I think you need to. Many times, historically, people would be served perfectly fine having a reseller's license, having a sales tax exemption. There are so many times that buying through Safari Zone, buying through eBay, P-Football Pete, buying through Hills Wholesale Gaming, so many times that you can buy through those websites, those other outlets without wholesale distribution, and you can get a cheaper unit price than me. I'm stuck, I'm forced, I'm pre-ordered in to taking 38 cases. Let's see, 38 times 6 times 92.50 is about my average cost. I'm locked in to a $21,000 pre-order, and that oftentimes, historically speaking, does not afford me a cheaper per unit price than the actual end consumer just pre-ordering through Safari Zone or Hills Wholesale. Like, it's pretty crazy when you think about it, but at certain times, maybe once, twice a year, maybe a few sets in a row when things are really stonking out, you will get that set where, okay, I am locked in. I'm locked in cheaper than people, but still, what are they paying? A lot of people, Hills Wholesale Gaming, like, you can probably get it. Let me just check right now. You can probably get a lot of sites as of today. As of today, you can probably still get 5%, 10% more than someone with a locked-in 10-year relationship with a distributor. Let me see what Hills Wholesale. Sorry, I'm not sharing the screen, but yeah. Surging Sparks booster box, you can buy individual boxes at 110. You can buy cases at 660. So they did bump that up a little bit, but like, be careful with the FOMO. Be careful with the stonking. Be careful with all the hyping. Sets, historically speaking, are in print for about 2 years. And there are some sets like Evolutions that maybe went 2, 3, 4, depending on who you talk to, depending on how they remember it. Reprint versus restock versus found in the back of the warehouse at a spare pallet. All this terminology, all these different things. It's fine missing things. If you are an investor, if your sole intent is to profit, entry point is huge. You can take it too far. I know some people get way too caught up in saving every penny, and there's always the argument made that like 3 years down the line, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line, you're going to forget whether you paid 90 or 95 or 105. I get that to an extent, but you can't take it so far. Like, price point, entry point is everything when it comes to investing. Whether you're buying a company, whether you're buying booster boxes, and the route that I've taken obviously is having distribution. Let's say that I didn't have distribution. One, I'm a serious business, actual investor by definition by the IRS. I'm intending to profit. I'm doing business. I should be registered with my county, with my state, with the country, with the federal departments necessary. I should have sales tax exemptions. I'm not buying these for me. I'm not buying these for personal use. I'm buying with the intent to resell. So yeah, all those things, all those considerations. So many times I hear these I words. I hear these, I see these. I go down the investing YouTube rabbit hole, and I go in incognito mode so that my algorithm is not at play. And some of these new channels that are popping up left and right, like, they probably don't even own any product. They're talking about paying sales tax. They're talking about buying individual boxes on eBay. Like, if it's all for entertainment, if it's all just a fun thought exercise, thought experiment, whatever, it's all perfectly fine. But I think it's important to get context from people that are actually looped in, that have actually been here a while and actually seeing what's going on. And next week's video, maybe some people came here expecting that video because I think I did tease it last week. But 6 months ago, I will link a video above, almost 6 months ago. By the time next week's video comes out, I will recap. I have a singular pallet that I am investing in. I'm time capsuling a pallet, and it has Sword and Shield era sets, and it has by the case, and it has ETBs by the case, and it has a little bit of Japanese product by the case. One thing I'm doing, and I didn't historically do, because historically you had a 2-year window to get in a little bit cheaper. You didn't want to put dead money in. You didn't want to put dead money in on year 0, and then year 2, it's the same price, or it's slightly less because it's still available at distribution. Things have kind of changed with the pandemic and all this and that. So when I made that video 6 months ago, it was funny. I got a lot of comments from people that probably own boxes, like 2 or 3 boxes, 2 or 3 loose boxes in their closet, under their bed, in their dresser. And they were kind of telling me, oh man, you're putting Scarlet Violet away a little bit early, right? Well, next week we'll talk about my thoughts on all that. We'll talk about why I put on that palette what I did put on it. We'll talk about palette 2. Palette 2 is underway. So this is not like a one and done thing. This is something that every year I'm going to be building a new palette, maybe even 2 palettes some years, depending on how it looks, feels, depending on how cash flow is. But and I'm going to be updating you every 6 months to a year on each individual palette, how they're returning, comparing them. One thing that is supreme above all else in investing is opportunity cost. Like, my dollars could go elsewhere. My dollars do go elsewhere. They should go elsewhere. The amount of people investing while having the opportunity cost of a 30% credit card balance that they're carrying, 10%, 12% student loans, car loans, whatever it may be. Even if it's a 3%, 5%, 8% mortgage, whatever it is. Like, I'm not saying you can't invest or shouldn't invest in Pokemon, but know what your opportunity cost is. So I'll get a lot deeper into that in my next video next week on my investment palette, 6 months return, how it's going. But palette 2 is well underway. Palette 2 has multi 5 figures worth of product on it already. Palette 2 has 4 cases of Surging Sparks earmarked for it. Pending how things go, I might do even more. By the time I record that video, by the time Surging Sparks actually comes out, I might up it to 8. But what I had been doing for Twilight, I had been doing 4. So we'll see. But yeah, that's a little bit just random rant, just letting my thoughts unfold into this video. Let me know what you think. I think it's a little bit dangerous out there. Every time we go through it all the time. People just FOMO hype. It's like when Mu 151 UPCs were 90. and they were everywhere. They were online for 90. They were in Costco's for 90. People didn't, I mean, some people clearly were buying them. People were buying them, breaking them down. I was buying them, breaking them down. But so many people weren't. And now that they're 200, people are falling over themselves to swipe their credit card, charge it up. Oh, well, historically, 30% compound annual growth rate. And my credit card is only 20% interest. It's all so scary. Some of the stuff that people do, some of the opportunity cost, lack of considerations are very scary. If you're doing this with intent to profit, you really should be, not even should be, you have to be, legally speaking, you have to be doing things above board. You have to be doing things properly. And people get so afraid once you say IRS. People get so afraid once you talk about taxes. If you do all this properly, business use of home, storage space write-offs, writing off your mileage, writing off shipping supplies, all the fees that you pay to sell an item, it is so beneficial to you to do this above board, and it's just a necessity that so many people skip out on. But yeah, that's my video for today. Let me know if you're interested to see what the 6-month pallet. Give me if you listen the whole way through, give me a percentage. How high do you think how much do you think my pallet of Pokemon product that I time capsuled back in May of 2024, how much do you think that has appreciated? How much do you think the S&P 500 has appreciated in the same time? Bitcoin, silver, gold. These were the things that I kind of benchmarked it against. These are things that I also do hold in my various investment portfolios. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'll be interested to see what people's guesses are, and then next week we will show the actual data. I appreciate everyone watching. I will catch you all later.